Hello, my name is Michael Povich, and this is another segment of Oral Histories of Hancock County, preserving the memories of many of our people who have lived here many, many years. We have the honor today of talking to Eleanor Jones. Good morning to you.
Good.
Eleanor,
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning to you.
Yep.
Now, Eleanor, you were born when?
September 28th, 1926.
So
The
you
Hurley Hospital in Ellsworth, right on the corner of Birch Avenue and Oak Street, room number 4.
Okay. And now it's an apartment building.
Right.
Okay. So that makes you 90 years old. So you were born in Ellsworth, and you're still in Ellsworth.
I am.
It's not like that old Maine joke, have you lived here all your life? And you say, not yet, I haven't.
No, not yet, I haven't.
All right, now, who are your parents?
Beatrice and Harry Jones.
Okay,
And
Harry,
Beatrice, her maiden name was Jones, as well as her married name.
that caused a little confusion, but we straightened it out.
Right.
Now, Dad was born in 1906,
He was born in 1906, and Ma was born in 1904.
and Dad died.
He died in 1975. My mother died in 1994.
So it looks like you got some of your mother's genes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so it was Harry and Beatrice, and you had a lot of Harrys in your family, didn't you?
Harry, 3 Harrys. My grandfather was Harry, my father was Harry, and my brother's Harry, but we call him Dud.
Okay, so your father would have been Harry Jr., and your brother is Harry
III.
And that's
Right.
the Harry Jones who is a real estate person and owns
Harry
apartments.
III.
Yeah.
You're right.
Now, a lot of people in Ellsworth know Harry, see him walk up and down Main Street quite frequently. Why was his nickname Dud?
I don't know. His great-grandfather was Dud, and where it started, I don't know.
Okay, but he's called Dud or he's called Harry. Now, you had siblings. You had a brother and a sister, right?
Yeah, one sister.
And your sister was?
Harriet Mahon.
Now, Harriet, if I understand politics, you Joneses are Democrats.
Right, yes, Joneses, but the Mahons, they were Republicans.
That's
I'm
what
an independent.
Okay, well, you had to sort of
Yeah, right.
stay neutral, but I always just think of Harry as being a very rare species in Ellsworth many years ago, where there were very few Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
And because Harriet married George Mahon, who was a state liquor guy for many years.
Yeah.
And his son, Jonathan,
Jonathan's my nephew.
state trooper and worked at the hospital.
Right.
Okay. Now, your father and your grandfather, what business were they in the days of the 20s?
Well, in the late 20s, my grandfather ran the Farmers Union on State Street, which would be probably the second building down. What's the other computer store, I think.
Okay.
Okay, that was the Farmers Union, and then down in back of the driveway, the rear 24 State Street, was where they had the grain business later on.
Now,
in the 30s.
Now, that's computer, that's Pyramid Jewelry, that's Firm Law Office.
Yeah, right.
You're saying that behind that block on State Street,
They were the sheds, I guess, or the barns from these businesses.
and there were businesses there
There were
at that
businesses down there.
day. Okay, they're not
And
there
there was
now.
a road in back of the library, which back along when Albert Bear taught here, he had the students clean up that trail up by the Leonard's Lake. I remember that.
Remember that.
Walk up there.
Okay. Now, you were born in 26. Harry was born in 28.
Harriet was born in 28, and then Harry, Dud, was born in 33.
Right. Now, where did you first live after you were born? Where were you? Where were your
Okay,
parents
we
living?
lived up on Central Street. If you go in Central Street, go right to the end, and the big house. At one time, the Brookses owned it, and then later on, I think the Ballards owned it.
Dave
It was a big house.
Ballard.
They had a little apartment upstairs. Yep.
And
small
then
apartment.
your next home was where?
Down on Water Street, 478 Water Street.
And that's near Cards Brook.
That's near Cards Brook, right? White House.
And then a home where you've lived a few.
Where I am right now was after the grandparents died, and they settled my grandfather's on my father's side. Settled the estate. My father took that. That's up on top, 100 Bayside Road, just beyond where you go into the sewer plant.
That
that's where I
land used to
live
be
now.
owned by Dud, wasn't it? The land that became the sewer plant.
Right, his land and my land, a combination of some of mine.
And some of the land holds to be the future site of Bob and Mary's too, Robert and Mary's.
Right, they've got a place out there.
So you've lived at that nice white house on the left on the top of Tinker's Hill for
When
quite a
I've
while.
lived there since I retired in 1990 and came back here.
So where you went to elementary school,
Pine Street School. I started there.
the Pine Street School. So did
Right
I.
up there, right.
So you never went to the Bridge
5
Hill
grades.
School?
No, I never went to Bridge Hill School. Then I went over to Park Street for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Then I went to high school in the what is now the Bryant Moore Center.
Okay. And the Pine Street School is on the corner of Pine and High
Pine and
Street.
High Street.
Big brick building that now has
It's got a store or something.
different
I
kind
don't
of
know what's
stores in it.
Yep.
And of course, the Park Street School burnt,
Fire of 1958.
and that's where the Baptist church is now.
Right.
And then the Moore School was the high school.
It was the high school from 1924 to 1951.
Okay. And that's where you matriculated. What did your mom do for work before she married?
She was a teacher.
And where did she teach?
She taught over on the Surrey Road on Schoolhouse Lane, up there, there was a school right up on the top of the hill.
Right next to where we live.
Probably.
It is,
Yeah,
I know.
it is.
The
Right on
foundation
that-
is still
yeah.
there.
Right on that curve, Schoolhouse turn. She taught there.
And what years would she have taught there?
From I think that she was there 2 years or 3 years, because she graduated from high school in 1923, okay. And in those days, you went to summer school for 6 weeks, and then you taught school, then you taught the next year, and you went the next summer for 2 or 3 weeks.
Didn't need to get a
6 weeks,
baccalaureate
right.
degree in
Kept
those
going.
days.
No, you didn't need it then, no. Started, yeah.
So how long was the Schoolhouse Corner School there, do you remember?
The school, I don't know.
Okay. Then you said she moved to a school on the Bayside Road.
The Bayside Road, which was the Fullerton School,
Yeah.
which is 4 miles down, about 4 miles, on the right-hand side, on the bay side. Okay. If you know where the brick house is, that I think the Silsby's at one time
On the
owned
left,
home.
yes.
Okay, that's on the left. Just beyond that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
right.
clearly not there anymore.
No, not there anymore. And there's no building on it either on that side.
We know what your father did. And you graduated from high school in 1944.
1944.
Now, growing up, how do you and Harriet and Dud get along?
Oh, we fought like kids. Well, Harry, no, not so much Dad, because he's 7 years younger than I am.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was
Harry,
the little brother, too.
Little brother.
Yeah,
my
we know
little
about
brother. He
that.
refers to me as his older sister.
Of course
Okay,
he would.
Okay. Well, my mother would sometime later on, she'd leave me with him, but she'd take Harriet with her, because she'd know that we'd get in a fight or something, and he'd end up in the brook, whatever we do with him.
The brook?
I don't know. The brook, which was down by the house where
You
we
wouldn't
lived
throw
on
him
Wonder
in the brook,
Street.
now, would you?
I don't know.
Did you ever?
No.
Did you ever think about it?
Now, the only thing we were always told is stay away from the brooks, particularly in the spring of the year, because it's out there. Well, one Sunday afternoon, we went outside. Of course, we were walking across the brook, and the rocks are very slippery in the springtime. Harriet fell in. And Harold Braff was there. We got her up. We went down to the house. My father came. We got her out. And he said, I said, what'd you hit me? I didn't fall in. I didn't fall
Sounds about right.
Right.
So, you said first and second grade at the Pine Street School, and
First through the fifth grade. At
first
Pine
to the
Street,
fifth and
grade.
fifth. Okay, it was
Yeah,
all
the
on the
downstairs room was for the, the younger grades. The big kids were upstairs. Yeah. Grace McKinney was a teacher, one of them, and Amira Brown. Okay. Yep.
So, how many students would have been in your classes in those days?
Well, probably from that area, I'm going to say there might have been about 10 of us in each grade. Because I can remember now from Pine Street School, for all 12 years of school, there were 4 of us left. I'll tell you who they are. Myself, Ralph Bennick, Jeanette Sargent Danahy, and Joyce Young Stahl. Those 4 started first grade, Pine Street School, ended up graduating from high school. Now, others came and have come and gone, have died. Mm-hmm.
Of course they have.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about when you were going to the Pine Street School, that would have been what year?
From 1932 till 1930s, around 1937, I went across the bridge. 37 went to 6th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
And then 7th and 8th
Yeah.
at Park Street School.
Yeah.
I noticed one of your teachers, we're talking about Sarah Russell.
Yes.
She taught a long time because she taught me in the 60s. She was quite a teacher.
She taught at first, I think she was my 7th grade teacher. But then she took a year off and went to school and got a degree. Then she ended up in high school.
Now, we also have another name here. I don't want to go through everybody, but everybody of our generation know Olive Fortier.
Oh, yes.
Now, Olive Fortier's grandson is Gary Fortier, our city councilman, and all the Fortier people. And so you had her as a teacher, too?
Oh, yeah. Latin. Puella sunt pulchra. Girls are beautiful.
And
that's the only thing I remember.
You were no other Latin than Puella sunt pulchra.
I told her about that when she was in a nursing home over at Collier's.
Yeah.
And she smiled. She recognized it. Yeah. Yep.
I noticed you actually went to school during the Depression. How were things in Ellsworth during the Depression?
Well, we accepted it. We didn't know anything different. This is the same for everybody, Right?
So you must have self-contained. Did you have a lot of gardens down at the house? Things?
No, we didn't. As I say, do the best you can with what you have.
Okay.
Right.
Now, in high school, what curriculum did you take?
I started with some college courses, and I switched over to the business courses, and more to my liking. Yeah, right. And then from there, I went to Hassan. Well, it was then the Bangor Main School of Commerce.
Okay, so you took the commercial course, which then what was taught in that course?
Shorthand, typing, and bookkeeping.
All right.
Yeah.
Shorthand.
You know, Marjorie Harrington, bookkeeping teacher.
Okay.
And Florence Clifford was the high school teacher. And I think she's still alive. I thought she's out in California, but I don't know.
Now, in '44, how many graduated in your class?
We graduated, I think it was 51 or 52, but some of them, for example, Tom Guthrie, Howard Buzzell, I can think of right off, left and went in the service before they graduated.
Okay.
But we, in class reunions and all, because those two people have died, we always considered them. Okay.
How many were in your class originally?
Oh, we probably started out with about 75.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
And did you lose any? Go ahead.
Did we lose anyone from the war?
Yeah.
Yes, a Donald Franklin. Okay, and he died in '45, right after the war. Now, he was a Donald Franklin up Gary Moore Road. He's buried up there. His parents were, well, it wasn't the same Donald Franklin as Mary Franklin. It's another Donald Franklin. She had a brother, Donald. Okay.
Now,
I think he was an only child. I'm not sure.
Now, his name was on that plaque down at the library lawn of people who died in World War
War
II. I
II,
believe,
yeah,
sure.
Donald Franklin. Yeah, yeah.
So you graduated in 1944, and you went.
2 days after the invasion of Normandy.
So that makes
So I
it.
used to tell my students in schools they wanted to know my birthday. I said, okay. I was a baby when Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic in 1927, because I was born in 26. I'm telling them that. I was a sophomore in high school. We entered World War II. I graduated from high school 2 days after the invasion of Normandy.
June 8th, 1944.
Yep, I graduated doing that.
Just have to know those things.
So you go down, well, if you check it out, some would and some didn't care.
Now, how
That's
many
all right.
how many classmates are still with us from the class of '44?
Well, we think we have probably about 12. We're not sure. A couple people we can't find.
Yeah.
Okay. We might have 12 to 16.
Do you have
I was
any?
coming over with Marion Bennock the other day.
Do you have you had any reunions, class reunions?
Yeah, we had a big 50th, as they always do. And then we always got together when they had the Alumni Association, like 2000.
Yeah.
We got together.
Yeah.
2010. And then last fall, when Jeanette Sargent Danahy came here from, yeah, she comes every year because she has a sister over at Patton Pond House. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that family of Sargents was Mike Sargent. They lived there. Bert Sargent, remember him?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a big family of like 15 children. There were 2 of them left. She came, and we got 5 of us got together. Went out to Governor's for lunch.
That's
We had a
great.
good time.
Now, when you were in high school, did you do any extracurricular?
Did we have what?
Did you do any extracurricular activities?
Well, we didn't have as much as we have now. We had basketball like that, and yeah, we had plays and things like junior speaking contest. Remember that? I don't think they have that anymore, do they?
I
Remember
don't
that,
know.
the junior speaking contest?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So tell me, what did you participate in?
Not much. I was on the shy side, not too much. I'm working. And I had to work very hard. I was not naturally smart like everybody else, no.
Well,
I had
listen.
to work.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
listen, unnaturally smart, if you
No.
want to say it that way. Let me ask you,
But I do get out of bed one leg at a time.
well, that's more than some of us can do. Some of us just roll out.
Oh, yeah.
So look, while you were in high school, did you work?
Yeah, I worked, and I worked at senior year in school. I worked at Newberry's before that.
And Newberry's is
now, well, it was J&B Atlantic. I don't know what's in there now.
it's sort of looking for tenants,
Okay.
but that's the big brick building.
And I worked 26 hours a week.
And how much did you make back in the day?
Okay. I used to tell my students, I was 23 cents an hour.
23 cents, that much?
Yeah, 23 cents an hour.
Were you worth it?
No.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I worked at $5.98. They took out 6 cents for Social Security. I had $5.92, and I bought a winter coat for myself. $29.95. $5 a week for 6 weeks, paying for it.
Is this while you were in high school?
That was when I senior year in high school.
Yeah.
And that winter coat, I wore it forever because I paid for it myself. Okay.
Now, I can ask you questions, any questions I want, and you have every right to refuse to ask
Okay,
them,
if
because
I
I
can't
know
answer
you.
if I don't know, yeah.
Did you date in high school?
Not that much. No,
Well,
most
no-
of the guys are in the service. No.
Good, okay, you,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
See, I never made it legal. I don't have any rings on
Now, now that I've got you on camera and maybe not under oath, this now gives me an opportunity to say, you keep maintaining that you made some money babysitting.
Yeah, you.
Is that really true?
Yeah, not so much then. Back in, because you were born like in the summer of '43.
True.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Nancy King's age,
Yeah.
okay? And then back in the summer, and you people were living up over, it was on Main Street. Was it over the
Panis-
Central Cafe?
Yeah,
or
over
somewhere?
Panis Grill, right.
Okay, there, you lived there. And you were a little boy, about 2 or 3 years old. You were a cute little boy, too. Yeah,
That will
right?
be edited
Yeah.
out of the tape.
I'll tell you this, you may not want it on camera. But Mother told me, okay, get him, poopy in the pot, let him pee on the floor. And Johnny Mahon was just like that. Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
You can take that off if you want to.
No,
No.
That'll get
Thank you.
something
No,
titillating
no.
at the Historical Society.
No.
The camera people.
They'll
aren't-
get a kick out of that. If it was true. You know.
Well, maybe some things don't
Yeah,
change. I don't
yeah,
know.
right.
Okay, and you never went down the path of marriage.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't spend the $3. Get a license. Why bother nowadays?
Okay.
No.
You also said when we were talking about this ahead of time that you're old enough to have secrets, and we'll leave it like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Okay.
You get that on
Now you said you graduated in 1944.
high
You went to
school.
Bangor Maine School of Commerce, which is now known as Hudson.
Hmm.
And how long did you go there?
I was there 2 years and 2 summers. Okay.
But you didn't get a diploma.
You got a diploma from Hudson, but at that time, Maine did not require a bachelor's degree to teach in the high school.
So you get a diploma, but not a degree. Not a,
And of course, keep in mind, this was wartime, and they were pushing people through for everything.
yeah.
So I got the diploma. I started teaching in Holton.
And that would
And
have been about what year?
That was I was there from 1946 to 1949.
Okay.
And at that time, there was no way to take courses during the school year or in the summer up there. You had to go back. You had to go back to school. So I took a year off, 49 to 50. Got my bachelor's degree at the University of Maine, 1950.
All right.
Okay.
So what you teach at Holton?
Business courses, shorthand, typing, bookkeeping. Yeah.
You still do shorthand?
I can do some, and I like to see it, and I look at it and remember some of the brief forms. I still use them.
I don't think I wonder if anybody uses shorthand anymore.
I don't think so. No.
It could be court.
Yeah.
Even court reporters have machines now that turn their code into
Oh yeah.
English.
Yeah. Everything now they get right on tape. Here it is. Yeah.
Now you also, so you got your degree in '48. Now in the summer of '49, did you come home during the summers?
Yeah, I got my graduating high school in high school 46 from Bangor Maine School of Commerce. Taught 3 years. I got my degree, bachelor's degree in 1950.
Okay.
Yep.
But did you keep coming home during the summers?
Yes.
And
I would work, like one summer I worked at Brookside Restaurant, and I worked there later.
Now
Waited
Brookside
on
is now
tables.
where the Pizza Hut is.
Where the Pizza Hut is. Yeah.
And that was
okay.
the hot spot in those days, wasn't it?
That was the nicest place to go, Jane.
Yeah.
Yep, right.
Was that that was actually there before Jasper's.
It was Clam Shack when it started out
Okay.
in 46, 47, I guess. I think when they started.
And how much was
Full-time.
the clam dinner back then?
A clam dinner, and this one I served in the summer of which one was it? 1949 I worked there, okay, before I went back. And they had a clam dinner, was $1.25. And that included dessert, coffee, everything. 2 dinners, $2.50.
And
You
how?
got a quarter tip. You were 2/3 rich.
All right, good
Didn't
for
know
you.
it. Yep.
Now you also worked in Newberry's and you worked at Tracy's.
No, I didn't work at Tracy's.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No,
All right.
no.
And then after you got your degree from University of Maine 50, you sort of
Okay,
left town for a few years.
Well, okay, then what I did in 50, from 50 to 56, I was taught in Brunswick. Okay, and in the summertime, I was going to school getting my master's degree. Yeah.
And did you get your master's?
Yes, I got that.
And where did you get your master's from?
University of Maine.
All right.
I did that.
And that was master's
And
in
I
education.
waited on tables. I'd wait on table for a few weeks at a time, give you a little extra money. You know.
Still getting those 25-cent tips?
Oh, yeah, more than that.
Right.
Right.
And then in 57, you
56 to 1990, I was in Connecticut. Yeah.
56, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in East Hampton.
Right, East Hampton, Connecticut.
Okay.
The summer of '57, I took a trip cross country. 3 other girls. Yep.
And
6 weeks.
Conestoga wagon?
No, I had a '53 Chevy. Yep. Yep.
I had a '49 Chevy. They a little different mechanically than today.
Yep.
So of course, back in that day, you said what year did you go across country? Did you say?
Summer of 1957. 60 years ago.
They didn't have the interstates then, did they?
Not that many. No.
Well, that's great.
Yep.
Okay, so in 1990, you retired and you returned to Ellsworth. And you have a teacher's pension.
From Connecticut. Yeah.
And your health insurance is
from Connecticut.
from Connecticut, but because you didn't develop enough Social Security.
I don't have Social Security.
So you're not on Medicare.
No.
Okay. And so you came back in 1990 to our town, which was 1990 to been about 27 years, and you've done nothing for the community. I say sarcastically.
Yeah.
So let's see if the kind of things you do that has made you quite well known in Ellsworth in an extremely complimentary way. You're a master volunteer. And I'm going to go
volunteer what I can.
Well,
slowing down some. I won't admit it, but there's some things I can't do now.
I'd like to be able to slow down like you are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with some of these wonderful things you do. We have Friends in Action, which is located at the Moore Center. You volunteer there. What do you do there?
Transportation. Usually taking people to doctor's appointments, people maybe up to the hospital to have blood work done, take them up for an exercise class, right?
And how often do you do that?
That I've been doing, probably about, I'm going to say 10 years. I'll tell you what it was. I was on the board for Eastern Aging and getting off. And then at that time, Friends in Action, their office was up at
Milmore.
Well, up at Meadowview.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Saw Joe Cooper, and I said, well, I'm getting off. I might be able to help you with some transportation. That's all I needed to say. So, getting people back and forth to maybe grocery shopping, taking them to the hairdresser, whatever.
We also
doctor's appointments.
You do some meal delivery too, don't you?
Yes, we're down now. I used to do it 5 days a week with a round pot. We're down now to 1 day a week. We take them 5 frozen meals, a bag of bread and cookies, and a quart of milk. Okay. Yeah, right.
And active with the First Congregational Church.
Right, the church.
Ellsworth Historical Society.
Yeah, not exactly. Well, yeah, what they can do.
Ellsworth Lioness Club.
Yeah, Lioness Club.
What do you do for them?
Well, the Lioness Club, because they work doing volunteer work, but I mainly work with the nursing homes for ice cream socials, play bingo, night a week. Okay. Well, for example, at Cortland, they're having an Easter egg hunt for the kids this year. Furnish maybe some help them with that, and instead of filling up and giving them all this candy, we're going to hand out a few little, trinkets, things, toys, trying to get away from a lot of the candy on things with kids. The parents don't like that.
It's safe to say that every day you're doing something
No, not always, maybe.
Enough.
Well, I try to get out of bed one leg at a time.
Okay, and you do. You're here.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I get out.
Now, you have been so well regarded in the community that the Rotary Club gave you the Paul Harris Fellowship Award a few years ago.
The Rotary Club, the Paul Harris Award, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That same year Judge Ray got it, too.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And Sharon Grant got it that year, too. Yeah. Right.
That's how the community regarded you, because that Paul Harris is one of the top awards for community service.
Yeah.
Now, in 2014, the Ellsworth Area Chamber of Commerce named you Citizen of the Year.
Yes, and they called me on April 1st.
And you thought it was a
They
joke?
called me. No.
Oh, you didn't?
And I thought it was an April Fool joke.
Yeah.
I didn't believe them. I went along with it, and I called back the next day to make sure.
And?
That's it. They said, yeah, I know. Okay, thank you very much. But there are so many other people deserved it more than I did.
Oh, I must beg to differ with you, Eleanor. I
No.
must beg to differ with you. So when you're not volunteering or getting involved in projects like this one, what other hobbies or interests do you have?
I enjoy quilt making. I like to make fudge.
Heard about that. Did you bring any for these starving children?
No, because I told you what happened to it. I started to do, and it flipped over, and I had to clean it up.
We'll have to come back
I
to
will
a second.
sometime.
We'll have to do a second interview when you bring the fudge. Okay.
I'll bring it up sometime.
Okay. Now, you know a lot of Ellsworth's history from the day. So you were born in 26. You have a memory of the Ellsworth fire of May of 33?
Barely.
Yeah.
And I tell you what I remember about it. 4 days after it, my brother was born. He was
Okay.
born on May 11th, 1933. Yeah, it's going to be 84. Okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can remember some of the places where they were.
yeah,
I can remember your grandparents and your father living with that summer, because people had to get a place to stay, and they
Yeah.
did. Nobody died in the fire. There were a few, Harvard Jellison, I think broken arm or something like that. But there were no fatalities. They were lucky for that.
Yeah.
That. And everybody seemed to find a place to live.
there's quite a history of
Yep, right.
the history
Yeah.
of the fire by Darling Springer.
Yep, right there.
Quite
Yep,
informative.
right
Okay, so we're talking about between 1926 1940. When you were growing up through the memories of the 20s, early 30s, electricity in the area, was there some or was there not some?
Yeah, the only thing I remember, okay, the electricity went down the Bayside Road.
Yeah,
My mother said 1922, and she graduated high school in 23. And they're going down in 22, 23. And I think it was Johnny Ray, who would have been George Ray's father, hooked up electricity for them. She had a birthday, her 18th birthday party.
Yeah.
They had electricity turned on. Okay. And
telephone?
they paid out, everybody decided to pay like something like $1 a month. Hey, in those days, $1 a month.
Not bad.
Yeah, right.
What about plumbing?
Indoor plumbing?
Yeah,
Oh, no, you didn't even know plumbing. We didn't know what that was.
so you had an outhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, it's still on the end of my barn, too. You can get out there.
One or
I
two
wouldn't
holer?
make it. Two-holer.
Two holer, okay.
I'd never make it out there nowadays.
We don't have to.
No. It's
Uh,
there.
Bayside Road, when was it paved?
It was either, I was down visiting with my grandmother. It was either summer, I think 34, not 33. But I can remember they paved the Bayside Road. It had been a gravel road.
Yep.
Right up Tinker's Hill and all.
It wasn't that popular then. I mean, now it's a lot of high-end properties right on the water. They didn't exist back then. Okay, Eleanor, just got a few questions because when you were growing up, Ellsworth was really Main Street. It was really
This
downtown.
Main Street, yeah.
So I don't know if you hung out at like Moore's Drug Store. Did you ever go to Moore's Drug Store, have an ice cream?
We'd go to get an ice cream like that. But we lived down, a mile down the road, so we didn't do much hanging out in town. No.
Okay.
No.
Did you ever go to the Grand Theater?
Oh, yes. Went to the Grand Theater when I used to have the special matinees
Yeah.
after school at like 4 o'clock or something. Shirley Temple movies like that. We did that.
I remember my parents used to park me there on a Saturday, watch a double feature in Westlands, and I'd
Yeah, right.
walk down the house saying, I want beans for supper.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Now, so let's talk about Ellsworth now. We saw on the news that Ellsworth is one of the fastest growing communities in Maine, and population is now over 7,000. What do you like about the new Ellsworth?
Maybe the shops. I hadn't thought much about it. Okay.
But you don't mind the fact it's a big commercial center now?
No. I hadn't given it much thought. Okay.
You've just seen it
No.
evolve, and you've evolved with it.
Not really. I'm used to a community center like that.
Yeah.
The Bryant Moore, things to do. There's plenty to do if you want to do it.
Knowlton Park.
Knowlton Park, the kids.
What do you think about traffic in summer?
Well, I get around it. I don't worry about it. No,
Okay.
just allow more time. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, and go down High Street. One day when I was delivering the meals, I took the gals on a ride in one of my brother's Cadillacs, and I looked up. We're going down High Street because they like enjoy a ride. And these people from Meadowview didn't get out very much. Look up, the inspection sticker. This is August. The inspection sticker expired in May. Okay, so I went back and told Dad, "Thanks, I enjoyed using your car because I bought one of yours, but it's going to be inspected." You know?
Well, that happens. I
Oh
think.
yeah, because there's nothing that warns you about that. You're on your own. you know.
Right. So, I'm going to just sum up. You grew up here, and here you are again. How would you compare and contrast the Ellsworth of today with the Ellsworth of when you were growing up in the 30s and 40s?
Well, I tell people if I know and they're coming back and they've been here for a while, you need a guided tour to find your way around.
And why do you say that?
Well, I say that because if you look like on High Street, if you remember, going down High Street, all changed. You've got to get a few landmarks there. Okay.
So what's on High Street that you weren't there 50 years ago, say, for example, or 60 years ago?
Okay, if you think on High Street, for example, where one time it was like Laverdia's, okay, and all that was the old meter field. We used to have the carnivals there. Now that was even probably before your time.
I remember it. You're
And then
talking
you
about
have
where the first shopping center was located.
Yes.
Where
on
Shaw's
that one.
is and that.
Yeah, right there. That was all a meter field.
And there was the old barracks from the Civilian Conservation Corps.
And that was down off Beachland Road. The barracks
Okay.
from conservation.
But I
Yeah.
remember there was just a big field, and you went there for the circus and the carnival.
Yeah, they don't have it for that.
And now we know what's there
Remember that.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
what else?
Okay, then up across, well, if you went up Washington Street, about where Comfort Inn, in that was where the railroads, well, part of the railroad. Yeah, because the station is up off Main Street.
Right.
That's been converted. But that's when you'd see them, they were coming with the circus coming to town. You could go up there and see them unload all the animals.
All right.
No. And we knew when they were coming because whoever it was the lead man or whatever they call him, would come ahead of time to arrange for the feed that they need for the animals. They'd come down the grain ship. We knew when they'd come in, they'd give us some passes.
Well, we've about run
It
out.
helped.
We've run out of time,
Yeah.
which always happens because
Yeah.
we could keep talking for a lot longer. But
Yeah.
you've lived in this community, you've enriched this community, and most important, you're still alive in this community, and you're living an extremely productive life.
Yeah.
And, and for that, I have loved you for a long time, and so has the community. So, Eleanor Jones, you just keep on trucking, will you? Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Oral History of Hancock County with Eleanor Jones.